And hello, everybody. Welcome to this EFP live session about the EFP Digital Innovation Award. My name is Bruno Carvalho, and on today's live session, we are going to explore a little bit more in detail the innovations made by our previous winners of this award. And we are going to dig in on why you should apply this year if you think that you have a digital innovation in Perio. Joining me on this live session, I have Andreas Travopoulos from the Scientific Affairs Committee. Hello, Andreas. How are you?
Hello, Bruno. Very good.
Nice to see you. And we have also the second and first place winners of the 2023 edition of this award, Christophe Ramsayer and Claire Bigot. And the winner
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
And also the winner of the 22 edition, Ludwig Groenman and Melle Vroom, which I'm going to present more in detail right after. How are you guys?
Fine, thanks.
Welcome. So, Andreas, I am going to start with you. As a member of the Scientific Affairs Committee of the EFP, can you tell me when this award was created and why should our colleagues submit to this project?
Absolutely. So that award was created with the support of, at that time, GSK back in 2021. And of course, now it changed the name, it's Haleon supporting that. And the first award was conferred during EuroPeriod 2022 in Copenhagen. It is an award, and you will, of course, get much more to understand how it works and the type of projects that they are awarded or, let's say, recognized, dealing with digital solutions. What is important to understand is that don't think that everything has to be an app, because two of the projects are based on an app. It has to have a digital component. This is the importance. So it can be a digital component that has to do with really clinical application in dentistry. I don't want to give any hints or any specific direction, but there is no an app component necessarily into it. This is, I think, the first part. Then I think that's interesting that people know that we have three categories.
Yes.
Is the first and second and third. And it goes with a monetary award besides the plaquette that you get. The plaquette is very nice to have on the background, but you get some monetary support. And the three awards is 10,000, 6,000, 4,000 euros. It's a quite okay amount. Obviously, it's not an amount that you can build up your entire idea, but it gives you a little bit of a boost to do something with it.
Absolutely.
The competition has been quite hard, I have to say. The level of the project was amazing. It was really not easy to decide who is winning. And I would say that the deciding factor was how much developed the business part of the project was, because this is one of the criteria of the award. It's not that you have to have a good idea. It's that you need to structure it in a way that one can see that this is an idea that can be really realized. So the business part is really important, and the awards that have been awarded, they had a perfect business plan, and that, I guess, it will be also recognized through the discussion that we're going to have here.
And how exactly, can you give us a little bit of the insights? What is the main key for the submission process? Should the participants apply like they are applying for funds for a startup? How does it work?
No, the first thing is that the information is on the homepage.
Okay.
So you can get the information there. You need to have a project idea and a description. And as I said, you need to have your business plan, how this is going to be realized, including a financial aspect if you have. And this is really the decisive thing in the decision process, because there are many clever people out there and there are many clever ideas. But to get this award, you have to have it really put it down into practice, or at least how you're gonna do it. It's open for all members of EFP, so all members of the national societies that they are affiliated with the EFP.
Mm-hmm.
This time the deadline is the 10th of June. So it's a relatively short deadline.
Close by, yeah.
We're close by today's event. It's not otherwise very complex how you should prepare. It is a bit open how it should look like, the format of your document, including these specific elements. And the more specific is, again, the business plan. I need to stress that because that has been the really decisive factor, how we decided who is winning. Then we have 5 judges taking a deep look into the project. We have some specific criteria that we look at, and I make sure that nobody has a real conflict of interest. So if it happens, somebody's, let's say, in the same department or the same university, or we know that has joint publications with the applicant, then this person is not taking part of the in the judging, is replaced. So I think that's also important for people to know, because sometimes, you know, people may have the idea, okay, they give it to their friends. It's definitely not like that.
And I suppose we have some support from the industry for this specific award.
Yeah, this is the support from Haleon. Okay. So originally it was GSK, then they have changed the name, and then it's Haleon supporting that. And obviously we're very grateful for this opportunity and this collaboration.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I mean, we wouldn't be able to give this award.
So for the people that are turning in on YouTube, for our viewers, you can ask the questions that you want on the live chat, and then I will do my best to ask all the guests of this EFP live session all the questions that you want regarding their innovations in the previous years. So we are going to start with our first guest. We will have then Christoph Ramsayer, that won the 2nd place in 2023 of the EFP Digital Innovation Award with the project myperiodontalhealth.com. Christoph from the Department of Periodontology, the University of Bern in Switzerland. Christoph, tell us a bit about your background and the project that won you the 2nd prize in the Digital Innovation Award, please.
Yes, sure. Hello, Bruno, and hello, everyone. I'm truly honored to be part of this YouTube stream, and I'm really excited to share some of the backgrounds of this entire project. It's basically one of my passions I've been working on for 2 decades by now. I have been using computers, coding, software applications, and mostly websites for many years. And the project myperiodontalhealth.com is indeed a website project. It includes a website where you can log in and then include your clinical data, upload your information, and then follow up during the entire monitoring process of your periodontitis treatment, long-term periodontitis care. So basically, myperiodontalhealth.com is an application, a website application for periodontitis patients. And you can see in my next slide that the basic assumption is, if you could change my slide, thank you. The basic assumption is that periodontal stability in all periodontitis patients is something that can be achieved and can be maintained. And the myperiodontalhealth.com website aims to support periodontitis patients to achieve that goal and to maintain their own periodontal stability. Now, during supportive periodontal care, many users worldwide have been using, and that can be seen in my next slide, have been using existing online periodontal tools, such as the already available website periodontalhealth.com, which is an information platform for periodontitis patients in common language. But also the Perio tools are available for free online and used by many users. Now, in my next slides, I'm showing you 3 screenshots from my invention, and that is the ability to have patients follow up their individual periodontitis clinical data. I will go into details much later in my short presentation. And in my next slide, you can see where everything actually for me personally got started. I had the opportunity to develop in German in the first place, but also in French and Italian, the website called Parodont.ch for Switzerland, and it was first published on Gum Health Day in the year 2019. Now you can change to the next slide, Diego, and that is actually making us aware that I have been funded from the EFP in 2019 to have my German website also translated into English. And that didn't stop right there. You can change my slide again, thank you. And it is shown on this slide that the platform periodontalhealth.com has then been made available for 10 languages, mostly languages from the former called Greco-Roman world, but also from English Anglo-Saxon languages such as English and of course German. So again, that is the source. People using this website had inspired me for many years. So in my next slide, you can see some of the statistics revealing that many hundred people were visiting the platform. And as you can see from the upper left data graphic, it shows that the usage of the website has followed the weekly pattern. So that inspired me actually to interpret the usage from dental clinics. The clinicians were using the platform as well, helping patients to understand anything necessary about periodontitis. Now you can change the slide again, because this is now going into detail a little bit on the use of perio tools. Basically, perio tools, you can change the slide again, thank you. From the periodontal charting tool I developed about 20 years ago and 10 years ago being published, then periodontal risk assessment, which has even some longer history, but the newer supportive periodontal therapy interval tool where the maintenance interval can be selected was the newest development of the perio tools that inspired me even further. Now you can change the slide again, showing some statistics on how many times per day the periodontal charting tool today is being used. Now it's actually even more than just 29 languages, it's 32 languages today, and now it's being used up to 1,800 times per day. But the slide I'm showing you was the slide I submitted for the award application. Now if you move on with the presentation, Diego, it shows the next slide how many times the perio tools are currently being used, up to some 600 times per day. So what was that all telling me? Why am I showing you these statistics? It was telling me continuously that the tools are being used in the clinical setting. And to me, and now you can change the slide again, that was triggering the idea to have a monitoring tool. Now, this is the name of the game. I wanted to have personalized periodontal care with a monitoring tool to be implemented into a website application. This is basically what the myperiodontalhealth.com program or development was about. Now, in this slide, in the middle of this slide, actually, you can see what I call the personalized maintenance profile, the patient profile. From top to bottom, you can see the blue bar showing the plaque score. In the middle, you have a gray and a red bar showing the residual pockets from that specific examination of the patient. The red bar is the bleeding on probing percentage. And this center core part of the maintenance profile of each patient was triggering in my mind to have a further application being developed. Now you can change the slide again. Here I'm showing you that the data now should be able to be transferred from the website via the QR code to a so-called personalized periodontal report. And in the report, the individual information from each patient visit is then presented. Patients are able to read about their periodontal maintenance and the suggestions for maintaining periodontal stability on their way home or even later. Now, on my next slide, Diego, you can see how through, again, a QR code, this can be simply transferred into a login protected environment of myperiodontalhealth.com. I have two more slides to show, namely the screenshots from my application. Again, you can see on the left side the maintenance profile with the suggested interval, and then patients can actually over time enter their data every time at every visit and monitoring their improvements. And in the next slide, you see that patients can also compare their individual scores with A, the best performers, or B, all performers, so they can see where they are at the moment regarding oral hygiene performance, in the middle, residual pockets, and on the right, the bleeding score. And now in my last slide, you can see that there are, of course, for all screens, because it's a website, it's quite simple to do that, responsive design and desktop design and tablet design to have opportunities for the patient to regularly monitor their periodontal data. So all to wrap up, you can turn to the final slide where the myperiodontalhealth.com smiley, click again to change it to a smiley picture. This is making people happy, I suppose. And of course, this is what motivated me to develop everything. So the development is still ongoing. Now, finally, the final slide, actually, every content of number one, Period Tools, the periodontal charting tool, and also number two, the platform, My Periodontal Health, is all copyright protected in Creative Commons license, so people can always use Period Tools for free. So this is my little wrapping up of my project. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and the time necessary to give an insight of my project. Thank you, Bruno.
Thank you so much, Christoph. So I really want to congratulate you about all these projects, not for the just for the last one that you won the award, but also for the website that you start with. It's a website that I think a lot of people and a lot of clinicians are using in their practice, and especially also the students are quite using it a lot for the periodontal risk assessment.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
I have some questions actually. So in this my periodontal in this specific application now, you will have each patient will have his own profile, right?
That's correct. Yes.
And then so basically it's the clinician that is going to have all the records, and then it can transfer via a QR code to the profile of the patient in the different visits, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
That's very nice. Tell me something. What were one of the biggest challenge that you face during the development of this digital innovation? Let's call it like this.
Yes, thank you for this very important question. Basically, the major challenge for me was to find the time necessary to create the entire environment as per se, coding time, designing time, and also aligning the entire project from beginning to end. I think this was the major challenge. I did not have actually in my mind to apply for an award when I started to do this project. It just came to me that the award was also available, but also I could submit to the award. But I always, and I still keep the principle of supporting patients in my center focus of my work.
Very good. And tell me something. What is the, do you have any expected release date?
Yes, I will release it next year. It will still take me some 6 to 12 months to finalize the transfer component from the clinician to the application, because currently I'm going through a certification process. Okay. Because it's a fact that the regulations in Switzerland changed so that the application is now called a medical device, and that has to go through the certification process. So this is taking the majority of time.
Okay. And Andreas, actually, I might have a question for you via our viewers on YouTube. I have a question from Nina. She's asking, how far should the idea or the concept be developed, and would a MVP be enough for a submission? You have to turn on your mic, and Andreas. Yes.
Yeah, it was the classic one. I have muted myself. Well, as I think it was clear now that this project has been developed for under many years, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes clear that if you get these type of projects, even if you have something else that has a brilliant idea, but is in the beginning, then unfortunately we cannot grant it. So it has to be really a quite mature project, including that business plan. It does not need to be a product already, but it has to be really very development, and I cannot stress it less. So it is difficult, and of course you can say, but then what do I get? I mean, I get maybe 10,000 if I have done such a big work all these years. It has costed me much more money, and I have been having the funds to develop a project. What would the 10,000 or the 4,000 give me? Yeah, I mean, it's not the money, it is the recognition, basically. And I would say not only the recognition that is an EFP award, but also the recognition that you will get in terms of visibility through the EFP channels, but also through the Haleon channels, because they also promote.
Yeah, for sure.
They advertise the award, they advertise the winners. So the visibility that you get goes much far beyond the monetary reward that you get, and probably much more than something that one could invest to make that type of reclama.
Okay. And Nina also wants to know if she can submit the business plan in an Excel file, and she wants to know also if she can add a movie in addition to the PDF document.
Yeah, absolutely. That is open. That's why I said that the submission process as such is quite flexible. It's not like the usual submissions in national fonts where you have to put everything very specific, including the amount of characters per line. No, it's quite open. It has to have the components in it, and these components are clearly stated on the homepage. What you need to include, what type of information. Yeah, exactly.
So Nina, you have all the information. Just now need to apply. So we are going now to our next guest. So our next guest is going to be Claire Bigot. She developed the app My Periocare, a digital solution aiming to improve periodontal care through a web app for dentists and a mobile app for patients. Claire's project won the 2023 first prize and will be introduced to French dentists next autumn. So Claire, tell us a little bit more about you, and what is this project that made you won the first prize last year?
Thank you, Bruno, for the introduction. I'm very pleased to be there and to introduce you the My Periocare project. So last year it won the first prize, and it was a great honor for me. I've been a student. I just graduated last year in periodontology. And so it was a specific context because you can move to the next slide. Yes, because so I've learned about periodontology and about the third area of periodontal medicine, which means to deal with a patient in a global way and to be focused all on the risk factors and on systemic diseases as well. So it was about this idea. And we have at the same time the 4P medicine, which consists on medicine which is more focused on prevention, more personalization in the treatment, for more participation of the patient. And in the end, we hope more prediction about the periodontal disease evolution of each patient. So I've studied periodontology with these two main streams, and as well, we all know we are living the mobile health area, which means the consumption of e-health on our mobile devices. And specifically since the COVID crisis, there had a big increase of health application. And so that's why I was thinking about a solution which could connect all these three streams. And so in that overall context, you can move to the next slide. Yes. And so in this overall context, so I think about the MyPerio app solution, which is an application to optimize periodontal care for both the dentist and the patients. More specifically, so I will explain in the next slide the specificities of this application. So I wanted, as Professor Ramseyer, to very help both dentists and patients to optimize this periodontal care. So with a web application for the dentist with specific services to help him in the periodontal care. So we want to help him in the diagnostic and in the therapeutic education of the patient. And so during the first appointment, the dentist will be helped in all this process, and then in all the periodontal monitoring of the patient. And so in a second hand, you have the patient who have the mobile application with personalized services, which I will detail in the next slide. Thank you. So for instance, during the first appointment, so the dentist enters different parameters concerning the patient profile, all his risk factors, all his general health, diabetes or heart problems, for instance, and then he will enter all parameters regarding the periodontal disease, regarding the Chicago classification. So then the dentist will just click on different filters, and then the patient will receive all the information regarding his identification to the mobile application. So then the patient connects to the mobile application and has access to personalized information regarding his profile. So yeah, if he has diabetes, he understands how diabetes is connected to periodontal diseases. So we want to really support the patient in all this process, which can be sometimes not boring, but which can be yes, it's important for his health. So we want to really support him during all the treatments, and then the dentist as well is supported during all the treatments to optimize the monitoring of the periodontal care. So it's a two-sided application, a web one for the dentist and the mobile one for the patient, to really yes, to support him during all the treatment. It's as a partner for dentist and patient, and to optimize periodontal care and the relationship between dentist and patient in the end.
Mhm.
So
Very good.
thank you for your attention, and we are still working on the tool. So more specifically on the web application of the dentist, we want to optimize the periodontal care of the dentist, and we are now working on the mobile application and infuse some game in the mobile application of the patient in order to get him involved in the periodontal care in a very non-intrusive way and a very personalized way too.
Very good, Claire. So Claire, your app normally is going to be available, if I understand correctly, next autumn, but only in France, right?
Yes, only in France. Yes, only in France first, and then we hope to introduce it maybe to Europe, but we have to get certification in France first because it's a medical device, so there is a lot of things to do before, and as well all the RGPD. I don't know RGPD. It's all the process to understanding all the data. So it's a long process actually. So maybe later in Europe.
Maybe steps. Yes.
Yes.
And tell me something. I think that we are talking here about two different platforms. We have the web platform, we have the apps. So this is very, in terms of the specificity of each platform, it's quite specific. What were the biggest challenge also that you faced during the development of your app?
Thank you for this question, because it was a challenge. So that's why we work first on the web application, and we work with engineers who can do the connection between the web application and the mobile application. So it's complicated, but so the most difficult part is to find engineers which are very graduated in that way. And so, yes, that's why we work first on the web application and then on the mobile application. And then it will help the connection between the two.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And tell me something, what was really the inspiration of this project for you?
The inspiration was during COVID crisis. I work on a platform named COVID in France, which helped COVID patients to be monitored on websites. So we were health professionals working on that platform, and we were connected to those COVID patients, and we helped them via an application to monitor their COVID, and then if it was an emergency, we just can send them to the hospital. So I really it was very important for me, because it helps the global health system, and I was thinking, why not for the same for periodontal care? Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much, Claire.
Thank you.
Now we are going to have our last guests. I have the pleasure now to present you Lodwijk Groendeman and Melle Vroom from the Netherlands, that were recognized in 2022 for the Dental Coach app, which facilitates dental lifestyle coaching and promotes healthy oral care behavior through personalized communication between healthcare providers and patients. So guys, tell us a little bit about you and what is this project about?
Now, we came up with the idea of developing Dental Coach because of I'm already working 37 years in dentistry, and the most difficult part, in my opinion, is motivating the patients for a good oral hygiene. So also working in the perio practice together with my colleague and doing implants, oral hygiene and motivation of the patient is very important. So, and because of that, we find it difficult to motivate the patient. We were looking, can we not doing things different than that we are doing for decades already? So I started my journey in the Bible of Periodontology, the book of Linde. And in that book of 1,000, today 2,000 pages, there is hardly any information on how to do or to perform the patient motivation. So that got me thinking of how can we do that. And then in general health, there were several techniques for behavioral intervention, which are not familiar in dentistry. So the EFP also had the perio focus green paper, where they emphasized on the behavior of the patient. And yeah, of course, the technical possibilities are changed the last decades by introducing the computer and the smartphone. And so we got the idea, can we use these instruments to motivate the patient? And to introduce the importance of the motivation and the good oral health of behavior of the patient, I will do that with these two slides. On the left side, you see a patient already treated 23 years for tartar removal and has had several advices over and over again to perform a good oral hygiene. And but the patient is not listening, he's not performing that. And after 23 years, the results is still disappointing. And only when the patient changes his oral hygiene and his behavior, then we get the results as we see on the right side. And how is it possible that the patient does not adjust his behavior? And that's because the patients, the way we patient motivate today dates back to 1913, and so the method is more than a century old. So in a way, we are using an old-fashioned typewriter instead of a word processing program. And that can completely be different. As I said before, we all know that the computer and the smartphone has completely changed our behavior. So why don't we use these tools to coach this patient towards a healthy oral care behavior? And so we developed a dental lifestyle communication program consisting of a computer, please the next slide, and an app of the patient. And by scanning once the caregiver oral QR code, they are connected with each other. So it's e-health both ways. And we are using scientifically proven behavior change methods for motivating the patients. And we already experienced that it is more effective. It makes communication more personal. Although it's a technical solution, it makes the communication much more personal. It's a systemic way of working with the patient. It's more effective. It's easy to use. It saves times. It prevents frustration because the patient is changing his behavior, and gives the practice a modern look. So that's the principle, that's the cause.
Can I have the next slide, please? We just show some examples. I think it's important to state that the program already is launched in 2017. So it's about 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And we, through time, have improved the program with all the practice we got. Because I think we all are here together. We're interested in e-health, but nobody's really trained in e-health. We are finding out solutions. And in our period practice, we work together with our oral hygienist, and we also getting experience on what works. Well, on the left side of your screen, you see the personalized brushing timer or brushing and toothpick schedule, which also shows if a tooth is missing. And that's unique in the world. That's why we also have a patent on this program. Okay. Most people say it's a dental coach app. No, it's a lifestyle program for the caretaker with an app for the patient. It really personalizes the care. On the right, you see scores. Also, as Christopher said, show that the patient is at risk. So this is our version of the spider web with colors, and the patient can see through time how he's doing with his care. Important to add, this program can be used in periodontal practices, but it's perfect for general practice too, and also children. So it's a very broad scope which we can use this program for. Next slide, please. Recently, we also included a diary, a food diary, and also activation or physical exercise to really show that the patient can also monitor themselves. So the patient fills it in for 1 week, and they get a summarize with also suggestions for a healthier food diet. And this really can also be used in the general practice to really slow or lower the sugar frequency. It shows a kind of mirror to the patient. Next slide, please. A lot of people ask us, how do we use this e-health in general practice or in a period practice? Well, an example is that in the program, we have instruction videos, which we show to the patient, and they also can show it at home. And then when they return to the practice, our oral hygienists also say that if they use this with the personal brushing timer, the oral hygiene improves dramatically. I think it's also important to emphasize that e-health really brings fun to your practice. We have been working it for about 6 years already. We have more than 2,000 patients in our practice who are using it. And what we noticed, patients are really love it. They really like it to get information, to be involved, to know how they can do the job for themselves in a better way. The caregiver, as I said, we're not trained in e-health, so you have to get used to it. But if you see the reactions of the patients, you're gonna love it anyway. It's great fun. And also, because this is for the award, we won it in 2022, the first prize winners. We were really happy at that time. And I can emphasize or stress to other participants, do send in your application. It's also a good way because you're sending an application of getting your idea clear on paper, because the EFP asks you to show what's the business model. Did you think about it? I mean, a lot of people have ideas, but you should have the long horizontal scope, because it takes a lot of time, finance, and also effort to continue this journey.
Thank you so much, Lodewijk and Mellen. And congrats, of course, on this dental coach app. I have some questions for you guys. Of course, I think all periodontists agree that the motivational part in periodontology play a key role on the success of the treatment. But do you think that it's also difficult for us periodontists to always be proper motivated to motivate the patients?
By using the program, my life has totally changed.
Right.
because the 25 years before, I was trying to persuade the patient to perform a good oral hygiene. And then in the end of the day, I was tired because
Absolutely, yeah.
to motivate the patient. Nowadays, I'm not anymore because I not try to persuade the patient. I try to coach the patient, and that makes the talks with the patient in my treating room totally different. And so I already mentioned it. The way you are going to communicate with your patient is much more professional, and makes my life easier, but also for the patient. And we see that the patient is much more willing to change his behavior. And that is nice of the program. But of course, you have to try it, and you have to perform it. So we are starting at the moment a dental coach college, so that dentists can come in and learn how they can work with the program.
Okay. And you just said that you decide then to put also the nutritional history of the patient. But I have a question. Does the caregiver also have access to this information of the profile of the patient?
Yeah,
Yes.
so the patient fills it in, can do it, or you can invite the patient to fill it in with kind of windows of various food categories. And then after a week, the patient gets a summary, and you also get in your own dashboard at the practice, you get a summary, and very detailed, but it gives a cliffhanger to start a discussion. And well, what did you think about your food intake, etc.? It's hard to have a conversation.
A patient can see after 1 week with colors the amount, the percentage of good food that they had taken in and bad food that they had taken in, and
sugars,
the sugars and all the fats, all the things. And the caregiver can see on his computer program the same results in colors, but when they click at the result, they get all the information what the patient really has eaten that last week, which food, and it has also a good, bad classification, so that it is also easy for a caregiver to talk with the patient if his diet is in a good way or a bad way.
But I think these kind of platforms for the EFP is really good, because we all three of us have nice ideas or projects which are running, and it's good to really show the possibilities of e-health, because there's still a lot of people are unknown with e-health, as research also shows. And when they see it, and when they see the possibilities, then they become active to start using it.
Okay, I have just one more question, because as I told you before, I was actually testing your app this afternoon, and I was wondering, do you have any sort of synchronization in terms of the calories spended and then the steps taken? Is there any synchronization with the watch of the patient or with any other devices, or it's a project for the future?
Now you can fill in the times of walking, minutes at biking, etc. It's when you download now the app, it has basic functions. If you scan the QR code for to a practice, then it has total functionality. And I think it's also important to state that the app is always free for patients, and caretakers, they have a kind of subscription rate for it.
Okay, and for the caregivers, it's only at the web page, right? That they have. They don't have an app.
No, they only work on the dashboard through which various functions. And yeah, we had a lot of talks through the years. We also noticed or remembered discussion 3 or 4 years ago with an instructor at a dental institute in Amsterdam. And he looked at the dashboard with the various tab pages. He said, this is great for educational purposes to teach the students how to apply motivational interviewing, how to apply behavior change. Because if you start with the students, they are already used to it. As we had this talk before the session with Christoph, he says also, you should add it to the patient or to the students. So that's why we recently also sent a letter to the board, EFP board. Pay attention that e-health gets the attention of students and get it on dental educations. I mean, if you look at the WHO organization, they published a very interesting document 2-3 years ago about how to implement e-health. And Dental Coach is, under the old name, mentioned in that document already as a good example. I mean, WHO says how to apply it. Let's apply it, e-health, in the dental educations.
Absolutely. A good message here. Christoph, I have a little question for you. Can you tell us a little bit, any recommendations that you'd give to the members that want to apply for this award?
Thank you, Bruno, for this question. I really encourage everybody working with computers or any digital format in their education, in their research, in their clinical practice, to find out an area where to improve your tasks, where to improve your workflow, how to even get better in any skills necessary to do periodontal care. And whenever you have an idea, this is a seed of a development for the next future, for the necessary steps to be taken to develop the digital tool or a digital app, a digital workflow, and wrap it up in the application that you can submit. It has been mentioned before in our discussion that writing down the application is a very important step, a very efficient maneuver necessary to think it through. If you just have a dream, with that, it all starts very well. But you have to make it work at the end, okay? And in order to make it work through, you have to think it through. The application is the way to go, to get to the entire process and to make it work at the very end.
Thank you, Christoph. And what about you, Claire? What is your recommendation, especially for the young generation that wants to apply for this award? You need to activate your mic, Claire.
Yeah, sorry. It was very well said. So I will say just follow your idea, follow your dream, because there are many things to do in the e-health process for periodontal care, and then different things can be developed, and why not to complete each other. I think it's a time actually in other medical department domain there are innovations, so I think it's a time to develop your ideas and to get confidence in that way.
Exactly. And what about you guys, Lodwig and Melle? What's your advice for the colleagues that want to apply for this award?
Start in early time.
Yes.
And so that you have enough time to overthink what you write down. And it's what Christoph also mentioned. It's good to that you are triggered to think to other sideways than only your fantastic idea, of course. There is more in the world, and there are more facets what are important, and the format of the application it forces you to think at other factors than really are enthusiastic for. So
Absolutely.
I think a funny story to tell is that because you have to think it over. I mean, I think it was 2012 or 2013 when Lodewijk said, "I have an idea," and then this started. So every time he says, "I have an idea," I says, "Whoa, wait. First, you want to have the idea. Don't start immediately."
Absolutely. And Andreas, from the part of the Scientific Committee Affairs, what's your motivational punchline for the next applicants for this award?
I mean, people should apply if they have a good idea, and as it was said, is well thought and has all the main aspects covered, including the business plan. I will insist on that. People should apply. I mean, you can get a lot of recognition out of it. You can get a lot of reclama by having this award. So I think that it is an experience also.
Yeah, and it's a good start also if you want really to launch your idea, right?
Absolutely. So of course, people should apply.
That's good.
Can I mention one thing?
Yeah.
Because also this evening is very motivating, and we are with good people with the heart at the Perio, but also with technical solutions. So I will bring up the idea, maybe it's something for the EFP, to make a forum of digital innovations, so that it is not only an application for an award winning, but when we that we start a movement of people interested in technical solutions in another way than the curette and the Piezon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good suggestion for the.
Yeah.
So guys, this is the end of our EFP live session about the EFP Digital Innovation Award. I would like to thank our previous winners for their presence, but as well for their passion to improve periodontal care to our patients. A big thank you for you to Andreas, also for sharing the insights of this award as member of the Scientific Affairs Committee. To our viewers, if your appetite to apply for this award has improved, it means that we have accomplished our missions. Just don't forget that the deadline, as Andreas was saying, is the June 10th, and only members of the EFP National Paris Societies can participate. And all information is available at efp.org. So thank you so much, and see you soon. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.